The PGA EuroPro Tour is back for another action-packed schedule as the world's leading developmental tour hits the road and heads to some of the finest courses in the UK and Ireland. In the show, we'll provide a taster of some of the venues the tour will be teeing off at this season. We'll speak with former European and US Tour professional John Morgan on starting out as a pro and the key areas to concentrate on in order to compete in this increasingly competitive sport. And to finish off, we'll take a look at the 2013 calendar for what promises to be another exciting and dramatic season. But first, a little bit of background on what the EuroPro Tour is all about. It provides a platform for the stars of tomorrow to compete in tournament conditions in front of the TV cameras and for a total prize pot of £500,000. But more importantly than that, one of 5 Challenge Tour spots, which helps these players move to the next level and move a step closer to golf's top table. And that table is getting bigger by the season as more and more former EuroPro graduates succeed at the highest level. The likes of Robert Rock, Michael Hoey and Brandon Grace are former members who are now multiple winners on the European Tour. Ross Fisher and Nicholas Colsaert have represented Europe at the Ryder Cup, whilst Charles Schwartzel and Louis Oosthuizen are major winners. The list of success stories really does go on and on. One player who's made that journey from EuroPro to European Tour is Scott Jamieson. The Scotsman carded his maiden European Tour title at the opening event of 2013 in South Africa. After that, he had a 3rd and 2nd place, and after 3 events, led the race to Dubai. Jamieson shone on the EuroPro in 2009, where once again he was topping the rankings, eventually winning the Order of Merit thanks to 2 victories. The first of those came at a course that is making a welcome return to the 2013 schedule, Prince's Golf Club in Sandwich, Kent. Well, I'm here with Anthony Tarchetti, who is head pro at Prince's. And Anthony, thanks for joining me. It's a beautiful course. It's got such a history and a heritage, hasn't it? Yeah, it's great. You know, we held the Open in 1932 that Gene Saracen won. There's a bit of a story behind it as well with the sandwich that he used. You know, he invented it that week. He used it in his bag, and then he actually donated it to the club. So we have that. Great having the first sandwich ever invented. And the amount of tournaments we've held here, you know, there's been such big events here in the past, and now hoping this year and the following years to carry that on and get some more big events here. And fantastic that the EuroPro Tour is coming. It has been here twice in the past, hasn't it? The last time in 2009. What changes have you made to the course since then? I believe the bunkers are quite different now, for example.
All the bunkers have been revetted, so they're all pretty much brand new. The golf course is very different in regards to how it looks, the fairways, how it's shaped, the definition of it. So the guys coming back from 2009, I would hope would see a lot of changes.
Yes, it's a tough test. It's quite a long test, isn't it?
It is off the back tees. Yeah, I mean, I played in 2009. I'll be looking
at some of these back tees thinking, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah. Well, I hope they get to the fairways because some of them are big carries. So.
What's interesting is coming down on a day like today, I mean, actually, you might not be able to tell at home, but it is really windy today, isn't it? When the wind blows like this, when these pros come down, will they struggle as well, hitting into the wind off some of these tees?
I mean, yeah, they will do. It's very different to obviously the tournament schedule they'll play through the year. So it'd be great to see how the pros deal with that.
You have played on the EuroPro Tour in the past, so tell us a little bit about your experiences, and you know how important this tour is to the players, don't you?
Well, it's kind of the breeding ground of people trying to get on the Challenge Tour and the main European Tour. So, you know, the guys that are playing here will be obviously the cream of the crop coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how they do here with the changes we've made and how, you know, tough the course is off the new championship tees.
It's a tough course, it's long, as we've said, the bunkers have all been redone, but they're a real test. If you were to give us one tip, maybe people watching at home, one tip to get around here and do well, what would it be?
Keep it straight.
Keep it straight.
Yeah.
What happens when you don't go straight?
The rough gets so long that time of year and thick. So the person that wins that week, even though it's long, will be the person that thinks their way around the course the best.
So it's not necessarily putting for dough, it's keeping it straight for dough. It doesn't rhyme, but it works.
Kind of, yeah.
Anthony, thanks very much.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The club opened in 1907. Former British Prime Minister A.J. Balfour struck the first tee shot, but after considerable war damage it was redesigned in 1950 to what is now the current 27-hole layout. Since the early 80s, it's hosted local final qualifying for the Open each time it has been held at its famous neighbour, Royal St George's, most recently in 2011. As well as its Open heritage, it's hosted leading amateur and professional tournaments including the Curtis Cup, the British Ladies Open, the PGA Championship and 2 EuroPro events. The Shore and the Dunes are the most famous of the 3 nines and make up the championship course that both the Open and EuroPro use today. Its raised greens, undulating fairways, deep bunkers and famous links rough ensure it is a true test for any professional. Phil Mickelson and Gary Player are both honorary life members, whilst Ian Woosnam qualified for the Open on these very greens back in 2003. And it's the Welsh former Ryder Cup captain who leads us on to our next featured course, Dale Hill. This woozy designed course is one of 2 magnificent 18-hole layouts attached to the Dale Hill Resort on the Kent East Sussex border. Built in 1997 and set in 350 acres of English countryside, this par 72 course is regarded as a hidden gem. It runs across undulating hills and through historic woodland with panoramic views of the North and South Downs. At just over 6,500 yards, it's not the longest, but the challenge comes from the large plateau greens, which are well guarded by water or bunkers. As with Princes, Dale Hill makes a welcome return to the EuroPro Tour schedule, having first visited here in 2002. Fittingly, it was another Welsh golfer, European Tour player Kyron Sullivan, who took the honours on his fellow countryman's course.
All I was thinking is a Welshman winning on a Woosnam course.
Well, according to Woosnam, the course has been designed to have the perfect balance, tough enough for the pros and easy enough for the amateurs, and it can be enjoyed by all. We will see how the pros fare when they return here in the summer.
That same year when Sullivan won at Dale Hill, another player was catching the eye. In just his rookie season, this pro began on the EuroPro and ended by winning privileges on both the European and US tours, becoming only the 2nd player in history to do so.
Well, I'm very pleased to say I'm joined by a former EuroPro player who went on to play on the European Tour and PGA Tour. He now does some commentary for us. John Morgan, good to see you. How important would you say it is for the young players to get involved in this developmental tour?
Well, it's absolutely massive. This is where it all starts for them. You know, they've gone through their amateur career and all of a sudden they're gearing themselves up for the first Q school of their lives, really. You know, at the beginning of the year they're going to go to Thrillford Heath, try and qualify for this tour, and what a great tour to start on. I mean, I started here and I never looked back.
It's great to be here at the start of the season, looking forward to what's going to be a really good summer. When you cast your mind back to being a young, enthusiastic player wanting to make your mark, what's it like at the start of the season? How do you stand out on this tour?
Quite easy, really. Hold putts and go crazy around the green. You know, I mean, it's one of those tours where it's your break to make it and give yourself some confidence for the future. And honestly, if you're big, bright and beautiful out there and you're giving it all you can, you're going to be absolutely fantastic, and it will rub off, and hopefully, you know, they'll learn a few things, vital things for the future. There's so much golf to be played in a year, you know, so many things can happen. I mean, one day you'll come out and you'll shoot 80, next day you'll go out and you'll shoot 63. It's, you know, that's golf, you know.
That's learning to deal with that, isn't it, as a pro? I mean, that's a lot of things, that's something that these players won't necessarily know how to deal with that well in tournament conditions.
Well, that's the thing, never give up. Never give up. Every putt counts, every point counts, every penny counts. I mean, the winner on this tour this year will be someone that never gives up and is just wanting to win everything. And that's what winners are all about, and that's where we'll see our next major winners come from.
Next on our preview show is one of Dale Hill's sister properties, the Oxfordshire. This former European Tour venue hosted the Benson & Hedges International for 4 years in the late 90s. In fact, Ian Woosnam was runner-up here in 1997, which just goes to show the course's pedigree. The Oxfordshire spreads out over fairly flat land. Its strategically contoured holes provide a real challenge. And add to this the 4 lakes and 135 bunkers. It's not for the faint-hearted. At over 7,200 yards off the back tees, it makes the most of its natural surroundings and elements and has tested the likes of Colin Montgomery, Bernard Langer, Darren Clark and Stephen Ames, who've all won here. Well, I'm with Ryan Bezadennote from the leaderboard group which runs the Oxfordshire. Ryan, great to be here. The first time the EuroPro Tour is going to be on this course. What can we look forward to?
A challenge, definitely, for a first. You come to a very distinct course, and very, very open to the weather conditions. So if there's a bit of wind in the day, you'll expect something exciting, really.
Yeah, it's a course with a great history, isn't it? Having hosted the European Tour in the past.
Yeah, correct. We had it for 4 years, Benson Hedges, in the late mid-90s. We've also actually had the Ladies English Open here twice, and the Addison Consulting World Championships as well. So it's got a lot of history to it in terms of tournaments, and proven to be a test, I think.
It looks absolutely beautiful. I have to say, even on a winter's day, just the contrast between the colours of the rough and the fairways. Tell us about the course and when it started and the kind of the history of it.
Yeah, it's officially opened in '93, so that makes this our 20th anniversary. It was designed by Rhys Jones, sort of dubbed as the Open Doctor at the moment, who's doing all those courses back in the States. This is his only one in the UK, American parkland, so very open, a lot of water, but every hole has got its own challenge, and it's still, after 20 years, is throwing up surprises, really. Because
it's our first time here, there'll be players watching this, looking forward to this season ahead. What would be your one tip to those who haven't been to the Oxfordshire before for getting around here and doing well? What is the one thing that would help you card a decent score?
I would say you want to come around here and have a practice in both good weather and windy weather. Because if the wind does come up here on one of the days, it's a totally different course. Get a bit of practice in there, to be honest, under those weather conditions, because it is a bit of an inland links course, and that's the best advice I can give you, really.
Ryan, your group also looks after Dale Hill,
we do,
which we're really looking forward to visiting on the EuroPro as well. What can we look forward to when we go there?
Playing the Wisdom course there is a long, challenging course. Totally different to this, to be honest. It'll demand, various skills in a totally different world, essentially, but a great challenging course in its same right. And for us to have both of our courses back to back is a good sort of stand for us in terms of this tour this year.
Ian Woosnam designed the other course, didn't he?
He did.
And he said it was tough for the pros and forgiving on the amateurs. I have to say, as a real amateur myself, it looked pretty tough.
It is. I've been around there a few times, and I would go the latter part, yeah. There's a few holes, it'll demand it off of you. You've got to play true. It's not probably like this course in terms of taking the risks. Over there, you need to be more sort of specific with your club selection and the route you're going to take. It'll punish you. Those trees will get in the way.
Doesn't sound good for the amateurs, but we like seeing the pros being tested.
Yeah.
Ryan, thanks very much. We look forward to going to Dale Hill and coming here in the summer. It'll be a real treat.
Excellent. Thanks very much.
Opened in 1993, it was built to an extremely high specification, American in style with sand-based tees and greens. The 8th and the 17th, the signature hole, even feature in the world's 500 greatest golf holes, which gives you an indication of what the EuroPro players can look forward to here at the Oxfordshire. Next, the tour returns to one of its favourites, Bur Hill. For a 5th year, the EuroPro players will be putting on some of the finest greens in Surrey once again, and that is no mean feat when you consider some of its more high-profile celebrity neighbours. Courses which are amongst the finest in the British Isles. Like Prince's, the club first opened for play in 1907 and now has 2 courses, the old and new. The latter is a championship track measuring over 7,000 yards, incorporating the River Mole with large greens and bunkers that represent a more modern approach to design. The greens are fast and have a reputation as being among the best in the county, whilst the many bunkers are perfectly placed. There isn't just a buzz and excitement when new quality venues are added to the schedule, the same response is generated when the best of the tour's established venues are once again confirmed, and Bur Hill fits that bill. The tour first visited Bur Hill back in 2009, and the winner that year was James Busby, a young pro with a lot of talent just starting his career. Unfortunately for James, he narrowly missed out on a Challenge Tour card and went even closer in 2010. But in 2011, his persistence and hard work on the EuroPro paid off when he won the end-of-season Tour Championship, securing a spot on the 2012 Challenge Tour.
Oh, it's a tremendous shot. Shot of the day.
What a way to head for the Challenge Tour.
After an indifferent season, Busby was lying in 45th place in the rankings before the Challenge Tour Grand Final, but it was here that his path in golf took a dramatic turn. A runners-up finish saw him leap from 45th to 16th in the final money list to earn himself a place on European golf's top table, the European Tour.
I always thought he had a good chance because he's a very, very consistent, very good driver of the ball, very good putter.
The EuroPro Tour, straight onto the Challenge Tour, one season and onto the main tour. That's the best way to do it.
A great back end of the year to get him in that position, and fair play to him. He's done what he's needed to do, and just shows that guys can develop from mini tours and get to where they want to be.
Every one of these lads, even on our tour, is a good player, and they can compete at the Challenge Tour and maybe even the main tour.
He's done well, he's worked his way up from here and Challenge Tour last year, so it shows what can be done if you keep working hard.
It's nice to see that a normal guy like James has got all the way up there, and it shows that it's not sort of as far away as we think.
Yeah, I'm very pleased for James. I travelled with him a little bit last year. I always call him my hero.
It just shows it can be done. Also shows it's not over until the fat lady sings. Final event of the season and he comes second and gets his main tour card. It just shows that you need to carry on, push through to the final line.
So James Busby, Scott Jamieson and John Morgan before them are just three of a long and growing list of players who've graduated from the EuroPro.
It's a bit different from when you started out, isn't it?
Just a bit, my friend, just a bit. I must admit, we didn't have courses like this on our agenda. I mean, this course here is an absolute brutal golf course, as people can see already, but it's going to be excitement all the way, and it'll test their bottle. It'd be nice to see these young lads that are coming through under 10-foot putts with a bigger crowd and bigger stage, and it'll be perfect. It'd be great medicine for them.
And then you've got courses like this, a very American-style course in the UK, and then you've got some real historic courses on the agenda this year. Montrose, everyone looking forward to that one.
Oh man, that's insane. I mean, Montrose is going to be windy as windy gets.
You've played it, haven't you, in the past?
Mate,
How hard is it?
Mate, it is so tough. We played the British Open qualifier there many moons ago, and I tell you what, that is an absolute cracking track. And then to be able to go to Prince's and possibly play there is just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the conditions late on in the year, if they get to play it there, is just going to be unbelievable. It's going to be so tough, strong. I mean, man, it's going to separate the men from the boys, that's for sure. You're really going to see which ones can shine for the future when they're playing around tracks like this, I should say.
And that's what they're aiming for, isn't it? They're aiming to make a bit of money and then hopefully get on the Challenge Tour and rise through the ranks and live the dream like you did.
Well, mate, you've got to live the dream, man. It's a knock-on effect. Once you win one, you win them all. You can win them all, I should say.
Remind us of your journey, because it was spectacular, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit bananas. It was, came from, playing for England and Somerset, as an amateur, and then all of a sudden, got my chance on this EuroPro. Coach saying, go on, son, have a go, go on. And I was like, yeah, come on then. And I had a little go.
You weren't sure whether you could make it at that point?
Well, you don't know what the standard's going to be like. You think the pro game, bit this, bit that. But, all of a sudden, once you put yourself in it, then you realise if you got it or not. And I think this is what the guys of the future and the guys that are going to play on this tour this year, we're going to see some superstars being born, over the next couple of years. And they will come from this, from this tour.
In terms of the coming season, I mean, we talk about the big stars that have emerged from the EuroPro, but it's quite a big deal for some of these players coming to the Oxfordshire and the other courses this season and playing in front of the TV cameras, isn't it?
I think it's a great way to learn. I mean, it's a fantastic way to learn. They should play every event they can possibly play in, whatever's on the road to get there, get playing, work hard, get prepped, be out in the sun somewhere, or practicing hard indoors, wherever. I mean, whatever it takes, being in the gym, getting yourself motivated, everything, eating right, doing your fitness, you name it. They need to be doing it and play every event they can.
Before you go, John, you know this field, you know the EuroPro Tour very well. Do we have a future Open champion in our ranks in 2013, do you think?
Without question, without question. There's some massive talent coming through. I think you're going to see some great golf being played this year, and especially when you've got tracks like this here at the Oxfordshire and Prince's and Montrose and many more. you're going to really see the quality come through, because they are world-class golf courses and they are going to get played relentlessly. And you know, people that shoot 65s around those golf courses, that's going to feel like a 60 around any other place. I mean, so it's going to be awesome to watch.
John, great to see you. We'll look forward to you joining us throughout the season.
Top man.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Well, we've just given you a little taster of what the EuroPro Tour has to offer, but here is a complete calendar of what should be a sensational summer. So that's pretty much it. We can't wait for the new season to start, for the warm weather to arrive so we can take these jackets and coats off and watch the new breed of stars walking the fairways of the Oxfordshire and the other EuroPro Tour venues. We hope you'll join us throughout the season.